$30 spent, $720 made in 24 hours. Happy birthday, America. It is 4th of July. Hopefully everybody's resting up and recharging your batteries. We're going to go ahead and pull some stuff that's sold and show you exactly what's selling on eBay, Etsy, Poshmark, Mercari, and now whatnot. And let's go ahead and get into the video. If you're new here, you're going to want to subscribe and like to these because we're going to show you exactly how to make that money and how to move the needle for your family in 2026. So on to the video. All right, here we are with our first one. This one is a new tag. It is a way to celebrate. Looks like possibly from maybe Easter time. And capybara. I think that's how you pronounce it. 1173 in 2 months on eBay. And we sell a lot of these. I would say probably some of the better ones to look out for maybe are the Build-A-Bear ones. So capybara, a lot of people love them. They're so super cute. And this one's off to its new home. Again, make sure you're liking and subscribing these videos because they're definitely going to help you with moving the needle, specifically in plush and toys. This one didn't take very long to sell at all, and they normally don't hang around for very long. So be on the lookout for your capybaras. Okay, this next plushie is probably not for everybody, and you likely would have skipped it. I want to say it's probably maybe 3-4 inches tall. Has new tags, Wish Pets. For some reason, I'm drawn to Wish Pets. I'm not exactly sure why that is. I have been from the beginning. But this particular Wish Pet sold for $14.99 in 1 month on Mercari. So someone else is actually, and it is a seahorse. Someone else has actually drawn to him as well, too. This one is vintage from 2007. Name is Hazy, and it is new with tags. And I want to say this probably was negligible in regards to buying it at weight. I'm not even sure if it was a nickel. So I'll definitely take that flip all day. $15 from a nickel. Let's go. So these are the types of things that I tend to pick up. Now, is it for everybody? I'm not sure. But if you do and are niche down into plush and toys, it might not be a bad idea to pick up specific items like this to make sure that your store has exactly what someone's looking for. And in this case, someone couldn't live without this little man, and he's off to his new home. Okay, so we are done out here in the shed. Now, this shed is a pretty good sized shed. We have approximately 108, 105 quart totes out here. So we are niche down in just plush mostly. We do sell some toys, and just want to kind of give you a scale and scope of what we do. We have about 8.5 thousand listings so far, with another probably 300 or 400 to list. So the goal always when we first started this was to scale to a 10,000 store eBay store, because I found out really early on that eBay somehow prefers or maybe favors larger volume stores. And I've had a lot of people on the podcast. We do a podcast. We actually do 2 now, where I've heard the same thing multiple times. So normally that's a trend or pattern, in my opinion. Volume reselling is probably the best way for a lot of people to get the most out of something like this. Now, is it the only way or what you need for your family? No, likely not. If you just need to have a side hustle where you can make a couple $100s a week or even a couple $100s a month, something on a lower scale and higher sell-through rate, maybe not plush and toys, maybe something else, would probably be more beneficial. There's so many things that are hot right now. Vintage home decor, for example, very, very hot. So you can sell just about anything you have a passion for and that you're knowledgeable about. And I think that helps with reselling. I think that's the key to reselling, is finding something that you're passionate about, that you have a lot of domain knowledge in. And I think it transcends into your sales. And for this particular day, I went back and looked at last 4th of July. We sold approximately $250 worth of items. And of course, we just mentioned we sold $718.72. And the day is still young, so that'll likely get up there. I'll leave space here just for that number. See what the end of the day was like for us. But yeah, so those are just a few things and a few thoughts of a rambling reseller. We're going to go ahead and keep it moving on this video and get to what else is selling, so you guys can see exactly what to be picking up. Yeah, we're going to be in the garage, I think, next. We're going to go ahead and show you around the garage if you're new here. If you're not new here, you're gonna be like, "Whoa, Bob, you cleaned up." Yep, I sure did, friend. Yesterday, I spent a little bit of time, maybe 30 minutes, 45 minutes cleaning out here. The hottest day of the year. Go figure. I said like, "Hey, let's clean." It's a little darker in here because I don't have the lights on, but try to keep it cool. But as you can see, we have some room to walk now, and we have a lot that we're going through. We have some Fisher Price loving family here, all these totes here, and all these toys. It's all loving family, vintage. We have some Build-A-Bears to go through, and a lot of this stuff is listed in my wife's Whatnot show. She does plush and books. So if you like storybooks and plushies, she does those on Whatnot. And this is the rest of our inventory. And I even took a swipe at trying to fix this box section. No, it's not perfect, but this is the reality of reselling. So I just wanted to take a quick minute just to show you what that could look like. And obviously, everybody's space is different. Do what works for you. So that's what the garage looks like. And we're going to get some plushies out of here in just a second. All right. I don't condone what I'm about to do, but here we are. Sometimes you got to do what you got to do to get it done. Here it is. Monster. Seldom do I ever drink these, but when in Rome, 0 sugar. So at least we got that going for us. We need a boost of energy, y'all. It's the 4th of July. America. Happy birthday. This one's for America. All right. Let's see. We got 189 is over here on top. Let's see what's in there. We got Nickelodeon Bubble Guppies sold for $33 and it took about a year, which is uncommon for that to take that long. We can never keep Bubble Guppies in stock, so curious why it took so long. This one kind of perplexed me when I was doing that list. And if you're interested in how I create those pick lists, let me know in the comments. I'd be happy to do a video on how I do that. So here it is. Bubble Guppies. It's a popular show. We sell a metric ton of this stuff. So be on the lookout for your Bubble Guppies. It's better if you can bundle them together. People enjoy that instant collection. And looks like this Bubble Guppies sold for, again, $33 on eBay, and it took about a year. All right, we're going to keep it moving to the next one. So this next one didn't sell for a whole heck of a lot, but it did come with an interesting story. It is a Garanimals plush. Turns out that the young person that had this toy had it for a while, and they went on a family vacation. She was just like, I've called the airport, and it doesn't look like we're going to be able to find this thing. I felt bad for them. And I was just like, well, let us know one way or another whether or not you need a replacement. Didn't reach out, but they did purchase it. So I'm assuming things did not go well. And that's unfortunate, but this is part of the reason why we pick up these items. So a few things about this is Garanimals is older, or at least this one is. And I don't know. I think they still do make this type of thing, but they're not the same quality. You can tell by how it feels as weight, and you can tell it's a little bit older. So some of the new stuff is not as good, which is not shocking. So, but this particular Garanimals plush didn't sell for a lot, but $661 in 1 year on eBay. Now, if I would have never picked this up, would that child's favorite toy be available to them? It's hard to say. Like I'm always torn between sell-through rate and what this actually means potentially to somebody. So I know that this is a business at the end of the day. Would I continue to pick it up? I'm always torn on this one. Leave it in the comments. Would you continue picking it up in the hopes of replacing someone's childhood favorite? Or is it just straight black and white to you and it's a business and you need to do what's right in that regard? So love to hear the comments. Leave them in the comments and we'll continue moving on. Okay, so this next one is a Dan D. Originally, the price was $4.97. Happy Easter. And it's from 2011. Let's see this dandy. Well, it says it's vintage. Well, we know that it's not. This is why you need to double check on ChatGPT or any other generative AI tool that you might be using. It can run with scissors if you're not careful. So this is a good example of making sure, and I'm just as bad as the rest of not checking sometimes and going too fast. This one took a year to sell, sold for $33 on eBay. And yeah, so this is a classic dandy in probably a Walmart toy, if I had to guess. So the buyer couldn't live without it, and they're going to get a nice crispy tag and an older toy that's in really great condition. And this one's off to its new home. Appreciate you guys following along, and we're going to get to the next one. All right, so we are continuing on to an Aurora Huggy Buddies Dexter the Huggable Burgundy Dog plush. Sold for $8.27, sold in a year on eBay. So the funny thing about this one is I just actually was making a video not too long ago, and these are out of order. So this is, at the time of filming this is July. Maybe I'll, for the 4th of July, since it's today, maybe I'll skip this one to the front of the queue and go ahead and get this one out. Because right now we're in February editing and putting out reels. So maybe we'll skip this one ahead just for this story. But the power of talking about something and then the realization of it then selling, or touching something and then it sells. I don't know if you guys have ever noticed that. Sometimes when you identify something and then it sells right away, I wonder if there's something to that. But this one, I made a comment of, how would you ever know it's not a Jellycat unless you looked at the tag, right? Very similar is what the comment was with that I made at the time, and it wasn't very long ago, and now it sells. Did it sell for a whole heck of a lot? No, but we also held it for a long time. And you got to remember, we don't have a lot into this. I don't even think I have $1 into this. And for that type of sale, I'm okay with those numbers. Margins sometimes on plush are not very good. And sometimes they're like ridiculously good, like 3, 4. I've had one, 270,000% ROI. I mean, you just never know with plush, which is why we pick them up and sell them, because they're easy to ship. You can go ahead and maintain them. They don't mind hot or cold 9 times out of 10. And yeah, so there's a lot of reasons. Plus, cuteness factor alone, this guy is absolutely adorable. And he's headed off to his new home. And we're going to keep it moving to the next one. But just when you talk about touch something in itself, what do you guys think? Leave it in the comments. So when I first moved to Alabama from Connecticut, so I've been here about just over 10 years now, almost 11 years. And when I first moved here, I had a hard time because things were very slow here comparatively. When I say that, people just move slower. It was just a slower way of life. And now I realize why that is, because it's hot here, y'all. So, and that is, y'all, that I've earned over 10 years. I'm going to go ahead and own that. And I think it's just by intention. You'd have to be intentionally slower so you don't burn up all your calories and your will to live, because, man, it is an absolute scorcher today. So I think that's my theory, and that's what I'm going to go with. What we're looking for next is a vintage Eden Peter Rabbit. This one sold in 7 days. It did not take long. So let's take a look at, see if we can find this vintage Eden. I have an interesting story about this one too. So while we're looking for it, I think it's this one. Yeah, this is it. So we were at the Nashville bins to grab this one. And I recall the story because it was kind of timely. We were just talking about a Jellycat in the last clip, that there was a young lady that had this in her hands, and she picked it up and she said, "Oh, it's not a Jellycat." And she threw it. And obviously, after she was done, I picked it up and looked at the tag, Eden, right? And I believe this one was sold for $45. The lesson with this one is basically, it doesn't have to be a Jellycat for it to be worth anything. That's just, one of those things. Just because it's not trending doesn't mean there's not value. 7 days, $45 on Etsy. Just know that Eden plush is a BOLO. Be on the lookout for. And Peter Rabbit, Beatrix Potter, always storybook. Always pick up storybook plush and at least do the comps for it. You'll be surprised 9 times out of 10. And also, just because it's not a Jellycat, you should still be picking them up. $45 later. All right. And so my wife we have kind of put not a moratorium on spending, but we have slowed down our sourcing a little bit because we have so much backlog to get through. Like, I mean, we have a lot to get through. And we've also been paring down some of the things that were poor choices in regards to selling. And a lot of that is Squishmallow in there. So it's unfortunate what's happened to Squishmallow, but they just oversaturated the market. They didn't learn from companies like Douglas and Jellycat, where they both retire their plush and make it um, less available to the market, which increases interest, which increases resale value, which ups the brand's desirability. Unfortunately, Jazzwares and Squishmallow, Kelly Toy, I think is the parent company, decided to just go full tilt into that, and unfortunately saturated the market and created a crash. In my opinion, that's part of the reason why they're less desirable. Plus, Squishmallows during COVID, everybody was wanting to something soft and cuddly to hold on to in the dead of night, I think. So COVID had a lot to play in the rise of Squishmallow, in my opinion. But just so you know, that sometimes trends and being in front of trends is okay, but also know when trends are at the end. So it's important maybe to follow my channel because I'm your BFF, the software engineer who resells. I track trends in plush and toys specifically, but also other categories. So if you'd like that type of thing, you want to subscribe to this one. So we're going to talk about trends and things like that as we go through these videos. And we're going to go ahead and get to the next one that's sold. And I'll be right back. All right, we were just talking about trends, and this is one that's been continually steady. TY, a lot, and don't come at me in the comments. It's not Beanie Babies. And every time I say that, someone always questions and asks the question, why aren't my Beanie Babies selling? Uncle Bob told you. Just kidding. Well, I do mention quite often that Beanie Babies, although there are some that may have value, I'm not discounting them as an entirety. But I would say 9 times out of 10, a Beanie Baby is not going to get you there. Now, the larger ones are still selling. There are collectors out there. And these are some of the examples of those right here. We're going to get to what's sold. This one was a vintage 1995 TY Beanie Buddies Tulip the Pig plush with swing tag. So we're looking for a pig, Tulip. She had her swing tag. Looks like this might be her. She's one of those classic ones. Tulip, yeah. So she's older. You could tell by the tag. See how this one doesn't have the star? There's different, so there's an entire thing to it. There's like a cheat sheet out there regarding which ones are from which years. But with this type of thing, when it has the original pristine tag and also the swing or the tush tag is what this is called. They call it the tush tag because it's near its tushy. 1995. So this one's a slam dunk and picking up. So if you see Tulip out there and about, make sure you pick her up. She sold for $33 in 6 months on Etsy, and we sell a lot of TY on Etsy. There's still collectors out there that love their bigger ones. So just know that. And there's a few other gems in here too. Too many to go through today, but you guys get the idea, like how many hundreds of dollars are in here. Oh, and if you find this guy with the removable clothes, Rebel the Reseller just did a BOLO on this one. But if you can find the ones with the removable clothes, those can get up there to like $200. This one is not that, but it's very similar. So just know that that's extreme BOLO alert there. And yeah, so 20, 30, 40. You guys get the idea all day long. And we do sell them on Etsy. And it took a while to get our Etsy store to where it is now. But I will say that if you nurture it just like a garden, it will bear fruit. All right, on to the next. All right, so this next one's a Gun Truffles Bunny Rabbit, and it sold for $13.89 in 6 months on eBay. Let's see if I can get it out of here. Had me a chocolate bunny. Man, I love a good Easter chocolate bunny. I don't know about y'all. Probably why I'm diabetic. Oh, sugar, I love you so. I love you so. All right, this is it. Here he is. Oh, wow, he's really nice. He's like a curly bunny. So, fix that in a minute. Here he is. The item number is got 36065 Gun Chocolate Truffles Bunny. And again, this one sold for He sold for $13.89, 6 months on eBay, and he is delicious, and he's hopping our way to his new home. On to the next. All right, and just like that, we are done in the garage, and it's probably for the best because, man, it's warm. We have, again, let's talk about how many totes are out here. We got from 170 to 307 out here, so there's a lot of plush out here. And not just plush, we have toys as well. Loving family. We have some mansions on the other side. So we also have a booth locally here in Huntsville at Top Key Market. And if you walk in the rear entrance to Top Key Market, go through the first passway, and it's on the left. My wife sells Fisher Price little people there. So if you would like to shop locally and you're in the Huntsville area, feel free to stop by. If you're passing through, feel free to stop by. If we're out and about, feel free to say hello, and I'll be happy to meet you and talk shop. If you're a reseller or if you're just a super fan of plush and toys, want to welcome you guys all. There's room for everybody here at this channel. We talk about all things plushies, so this is a safe, family-friendly channel, and we appreciate you guys coming along. Let's go ahead and finish pulling what's sold for the 4th of July. This next one proves that seasonality doesn't really matter. This is a Christmas elf on the shelf, my first elf, Lovey, and we are, like we mentioned, in July. It's the 4th of July, matter of fact. So happy birthday, America. And also, what can I say? Christmas in July is a thing, apparently. So always make sure you get your stuff listed. Don't just let it sit in your profit pile. Some people call it a death pile. It's just a money mountain when you really think about it. So get those things listed. This one sold for $16.50 in 5 months on eBay. All right, he's off to her new home, and we are off to our next item. Okay, so here we are with another plushie going out of here. This is a vintage Maurice Sendak, Where the Wild Things Are. Sippy the plush sold for $37 in 1 year on Etsy, and they paid $90 for express international shipping. Someone could not live without this thing, so they paid a lot of money to get this out of here. And I don't know if they realize it's the 4th of July weekend, and mail's just not moving as fast here in the States. Hopefully they understand, and this gets to where it's going in a timely fashion. But what can I say? I mean, it's hard to say exactly what's going to sell, where and when, but Where the Wild Things Are is always a sure bet. On to the next. Okay, so we are looking for Hello 4 Kids Minnie Mouse with heart teeth. All right, let's go. Minnie Mouse. Look for a little mouse. Not Minnie Mouse, a little mouse. Just a random jelly cat hanging out. That's not what we're looking for. Here it is. Wow, this guy's great. Look at this bill for it. I don't know about Minnie. He's kind of chunky. Not chunky, chunky. And this chunky little mouse looks like he sold for $25 in 4 months on Mercari. And he is off to his new home. I'm not exactly sure how you guys feel, but I feel like chunky plush are the best plush. He's off to his new home, and we're going to keep him moving. All right, we got a Wile E. Coyote headed out of here, and I almost kept this from my personal collection, but this one is going to be running out of here, and it looks like it's running out of here for, see, Wile E. Coyote is $26.38 in 8 months on eBay. So I'm a big fan of anything Looney Tunes, Hanna-Barbera, this old school cartoon. So if you love Wile E. Coyote, leave it in the comments. You're not alone. On to his new home. All right, this next one's a vintage Blue's Clues plush clip or backpack clip. And it has a little zipper here. You can put some items in. It's not very big, but it's also vintage and it's in great condition. Let's see, this guy sold for $19.79 in 7 months on eBay. It was originally listed for $30, but you know, trying to keep things moving shop is important, and trying to keep cash flow up. So sometimes the market will bear those prices, and sometimes it just won't. So we took an offer on this one. This one's out of here for $19.79, 7 months on eBay. Sometimes you got to do what you got to do, even though it's fantastic and worth more. All right. if you recall from previous videos, and we have all this listed and it's been selling. We're looking for room to put this in. So we've been slowly going through our inventory, combining items and making room. We are almost at capacity in regards to space, but meantime, this stuff is listed and selling. And this is an example. This one actually just sold. It is a vintage beanbag plush set of Winnie the Pooh. It has Owl, Piglet, Tigger, and Gopher in here. And I want to say this one sold for $50. Let's see. We got, yep, $49.99 in 1 month on Etsy. So just so you know, some of the rarer ones to look for are Gopher and Owl, which likely helped sell this. Also Piglet, sometimes it's hard to find. But Pooh and Tigger, you can pretty much find in just about every thrift store across America, or at least that's been our opinion. And we've been to many, 6 or 7 different states thrifting. So be on the lookout for the harder, more rare finds. And don't be afraid to put them together in a bundle. $50 again, and sold in, I want to say, less than a month. And it's still in our staging area. So we're going to go ahead and move on to the next one. Sesame Street Big Bird and Snuffleupagus Snuffy Plush sold for $59.99 in 3 days, y'all, on Etsy. And why that is Snuffleupagus is rare to find in a gun flavor. So this one is gunned, and he is very sought after. So if you see gun Snuffleupagus out in the wilderness, make sure you're picking them up and selling them. He could sell by himself for just about that as well. But we did throw a Big Bird in there as a little bit extra to keep him moving, and it worked. And he sold really, really quickly. So be on the lookout for your Sesame Street, specifically Snuffleupagus. On to the next. All right, this next one is something that actually honestly surprised me, and I'm not exactly sure why, but this Disney Parks Riviera Resort Mickey Mouse plush keychain sold for $29.99. We picked it up at the bins at weight. Imagine our surprise when it sold for $30. We didn't even have time to put it away. It sold so fast. It sold in 8 hours of listing. So what I will say is make sure you're doing your comps. Not all Mickey Mouse stuff is even worth picking up. And honestly, it was probably one of those things where we just picked it up because it was so small. We're trending towards not picking this stuff up, but this is a good example of checking everything prior to saying no. Sold on Poshmark, $29.99, 8 hours. Disney Parks Riviera Resort Mickey plush keychain. And this guy's off to his new home. This is the BOLO of the video. This is a Toy Story bundle, and there's a lot going on in here. Specifically, we've had a lot of requests to break this up. One for Gabby, and the other one where requests to break up was for Woody. Right here, I don't know if he's a special Woody, but those two in general were constantly being asked for. And yeah, we don't really break bundles up anymore. Once we bundle them, there's so much time and effort wrapped up into photographing and listing. So we've gone to the route of not doing that type of thing. So make sure you hold your ground. And after those 3 or 4 inquiries, it actually sold at full price. And this one looks like it sold for $119.99 in 1 month. So, and likely because it is Toy Story 5 is out right now, and it's hot, just like this 4th of July. So this is your BOLO for the video. Again, remember, these weren't all picked up at the same spot, but we took an opportunity to bundle them up. Will we do so again? Is a good question because we got more where that came from. So bundles are likely the way forward with some of this stuff. And yeah, we have so much Disney to get through that don't sleep on a bundle is the messaging here. Again, $120 in 1 month. And Disney Toy Story 5's out. I haven't seen the movie. Leave it in the comments if you saw the movie and what you think. Okay, we have one more to pull, but I'm not going to do that right now. Need to dig through a lot of this to just see exactly where it is. It's Disney Scentsy Buddy Tigger and Eeyore plush set. And I'll go ahead and put it right here so you can see what that looks like. That sold for $29.99 in 17 days. And just like that, the video is over. Happy 4th of July, everybody. Remember to like and subscribe to these videos. And just remember one thing. If you can't be good at it. We'll catch you on the next video.